Good morning. Happy Wednesday, or whatever day you're listening to this, at whatever time of the day it is. I hope you're having a beautiful day and an amazing week so far. I hope you got your coffee or your cup of tea or your hot chocolate, whatever your beverage of choice is. It is so cold here at the moment. It finally got wintry, which is really nice, and was meant to be going to the snow, did not go to the snow. It was the worst winds since like 2005 or something. I had a look at the forecast on the day that we were meant to be there, and it was like 98k winds, which is just wild. Absolutely wild. And then yesterday was still up like 60 or something, and I had a look in the afternoon and most of the lifts were on wind hold. So we did not go to the snow. I was super devastated, but it has been postponed for in 2 weeks' time. So fingers crossed the weather gods are a little kinder, because can't move it twice. So yeah, that's anyways, I'm still really excited to go, because there's just something about being on the mountain and in nature, and it's so freeing. There's no responsibilities on that mountain. There is nowhere to be. There is no one needs you. You don't need to be anywhere else but right there in that moment, in the present. And being in the snow for me is just my happy place. It's peaceful, like the serenity of the snow, like that quiet cold is so freaking peaceful. I love it. So I can't wait to go. And just be on the mountain. I love it. I love it so much. And it'll be good because I haven't been snowboarding since Christmas last year, like 2 Christmases ago. So it'll be good to blow some cobwebs out and then just absolutely send it and get an awesome workout in and be super sore for a few days. So we love that. Oh, good morning, Duke. Charging in. On your bed, please. Go on your bed. On your bed. On your bed. Go. Good boy. Oh, downward dog right in front of the camera. We love a butt shot, don't we, Duke? All right, anyways, let's get into it. I'm rambling and babbling. Okay, so today's topic, what I want to talk about, I have got notes just here on my laptop that I might refer back to, just because I don't want to forget anything, and I really love the stuff that I got about this topic as well before the potty, so I will refer back to it. But what I want to talk about is, I've talked before about how our brains are quite lazy. Like, it just wants to be on autopilot. It wants to do things that are simple. Being challenged and having to think constantly is hard work for our brain, right? That's why when you go for a drive in the car, like if you've done it a million times, you might get to the destination and you're like, oh, I don't remember any of that drive. It's because it's so easy for your brain to just do that. It's not actually having to think that much. It's really aware of what's happening. It knows how to drive. You're all good, right? And then if you notice when you actually have to start to learn something new, it's quite exhausting. Like, it's almost like a physical exhaustion is happening for your brain, right? So our brain doesn't love to have to think a whole lot as we get older. It loves being on autopilot. And what happens when that's the case is, when we are faced with challenges, we're faced with decisions, even just our language that we use day to day, it can be so unconscious to us what we say that it's actually not even the truth or the underlying truth or our truth. Okay, so what's happening is, when you're asked a question, the first answer that usually comes is from the part of your brain trying to make sense of your behavior. But if you sat with the question or the decision for a lot longer, you will find that it's actually not the underlying truth to the answer that you just gave. And so when you're being faced with decisions or you're being asked questions that can be a little hard or uncomfortable, right? Because again, our brain's going to want to help protect us. It doesn't want us to have to dig into those emotions and those feelings and get to the underneath the surface stuff that's happening and simmering underneath. you'll find that the answers that you give are going to be socially acceptable. Okay, they're going to be answers that maybe you're not hurting another person. It's like the easiest way to get out of a situation or a decision that's the most comfortable for you, and with the reason of, I don't want to hurt that person. But ultimately, it's not the true reason that you're giving them. And same goes with the decision, everyday life stuff. Like, for example, when I used to own the gym, people would always say, I just can't afford a gym membership. And that ultimately is like, and it was really common that I would see it from the people that hang on one sec, I just think I need to let him out. I would often see it from people who would still go out every single weekend and have a great time and party and spend plenty of money, hundreds of dollars, on a weekend out, right? So it's like, I can't afford a gym membership isn't the truth. It's the surface level reason that seems socially acceptable, or that allows them to avoid being truly accountable for their decisions and their actions. And so the underlying truth to that would be more along the lines of, health is not my priority right now. Super simple, right? Like they're not prioritizing their health by getting a gym membership, because they would rather go spend the money that they are getting each weekend on going out. So there's a reason that we give, and there's an underlying surface truth that if we started taking accountability for, we would have far more honest and open communication across the board in our life. Like just everyday life. And you'll notice this now that I've said this, because it'll come into your reticular activating system and it'll be coming into your awareness. So just start paying attention to the reasons that people give for certain decisions, and have a think like, oh, I wonder what the actual truth of that would be, outside of them just saying something that is so conditioned and unconscious that they're not even aware of it, saying something that probably could have stemmed from parents, belief systems, saying something that is socially acceptable across the board. Particularly, you'll find this with people who might be a bit more people pleasing. They're going to say whatever they need to say to keep the peace in difficult situations. So yeah, that's some examples. So whenever you're faced with this, like a decision, or you've been asked a question, or you have some sort of life choice that you have to make, start noticing, what is the first answer you give? Chances are it's meeting a certain amount of criteria that your brain is going to construct to protect you from the deeper feelings, the deeper accountability, taking responsibility for how you actually feel, or for the decisions that you actually need to make. And what you'll notice too is with this, if there's a level of confusion happening for you around a decision, or there's a level of confusion happening for you around an answer that you give, it's because your brain has given the certain answer, but your body doesn't feel it. Okay, so it's not, everything's not connected. You're going against your gut to say one thing when it's actually not the truth that's underneath for you. So some questions that you can ask, or just something that you can pay attention to, is that when you've given the surface level reason, ask yourself, what would my answer or decision be if I wasn't going to hurt anybody else? What would my decision or answer be if I was not worried about being judged, or I was not going to be judged? What would my answer or decision be? Duke, it's so gross. On your bed or out? Go on your bed. Good boy, on your bed. What would my decision or answer be if I didn't care about what other people thought and it was just my honest to God truth? So that's 3 questions you can ask yourself when you're being faced with something and you're like, oh, like I've got a truth I need to share and I don't know how to do it, or you notice that you often give excuses or you often give surface level reasons, or you often dance around the actual truth of the situation, of who you are, of who you want to be, of who you're trying to show up as, of what you value, so that you can kind of manipulate a situation to not be too heavy, to not be too uncomfortable, to not be faced with your actual truth, your emotions, your feelings, your wounds, your truth, right? Because our brain will constantly try to protect us from going in to handle that. Yeah, so if there's a confusion happening, it's because your brain's saying one thing, your body feels another. If you're somebody who is trying to work on, if you're somebody who's trying to work on being authentic, like you're on this journey of like, I just want to be my authentic self, and you're like, I have no idea who that is. I have no idea how to get to that person. How do I become that? I've been on this journey, and it's, yeah, like, you know, in the last 5 years for sure. And coming from somebody who did like to keep the peace, you will get to your authentic self so much quicker when you can understand what you value, when you can start living through those values. So go back and listen to the session that we did on values. It's a huge one. When you can stop being influenced by everybody else's preferences, everybody else's desires, everybody else's beliefs, everybody else's thoughts, everybody else's opinions, and you can just look at a situation with complete discernment and go, okay, what would I like to do in this? What would I like? How do I want to show up? What truth do I want to say in this particular situation so that I am living to my value of being authentic or honest or loyal or whatever it is? Integrity, right? And so start really removing all the outside noise. This is what worked for me incredibly. I stopped seeking answers from other people. I stopped looking for answers from everyone else and started looking within and wanting to understand myself. I started having hard conversations. I started making hard decisions. I started being really friggin' uncomfortable in how I showed up, whether it was showing up and being vulnerable in dating and being honest about where I'm at. I don't like to play games. I don't like to play games. I like the other person because I know what it feels like. And I think I was having a conversation with someone on the weekend about this, who was dating and who's, you know, kind of going through this stage of like, was in a relationship, broke up, now they're still talking and they're dating, and, you know, just how they were showing up in that realm. And one thing that struck out for me was, I know how it feels to be jerked around. I know how it feels to be ghosted. I know how it feels to be cheated on. I know how it feels to not be shown truth and honesty. I know what it feels like to be gaslit. I know what it feels like to just be thrown into a head game because the other person, for whatever reason, wanted to do what they wanted to do, and their actions and choices were painful. And I don't respect that. I don't appreciate it. I know how it feels. And so when I am dating, or even when I'm in a relationship, I don't mess around with that stuff. I do my best to be the most honest and authentic and caring and compassionate that I can be, because I don't want to hurt the other person and make them feel a way that I have felt, because it's not nice. If you've ever experienced any of that stuff, you know it's painful. You don't feel respected, you don't feel valued, you feel worthless. There's the body feel. So this is another big one that I really lean on a lot now, is how do I feel in my body? If I'm getting a bit of a nauseous feeling, if I'm getting a bit of a tight chest, if I'm getting like a tight throat, That means I'm not speaking my truth majority of the time. It means that a boundary is being crossed, or there's something weighing on my heart and I'm like, oh, I really need to share that. That didn't feel good. So start noticing how your body is reacting to your life situations, whether it's dating, whether it's relationships, whether it's work, whether it's your health, whatever it is. Your body's going to be telling you whether there's a misalignment happening. And oh no, brain, come back. Your body's going to be telling you, like, you might get tight, tense, you might be getting sick all the time, your body's going to be telling you. So when you're faced with decisions or you're asked questions, just start seeing if you can be aware of what your body does. If you feel really uncomfortable, it means that you probably have something you need to say that's going to be uncomfortable to say. Whether it's going to hurt the other person, whether it's going to be a complete job change. You're going to throw your life completely, tip it upside down, and go a completely different direction, right? You're going to be feeling those things in your body, and your brain is probably going to be making up reasons for that just aren't true. So yeah, it's having the self-awareness of this is not necessarily about the first answer that comes to mind. It's going to be the deeper layers. And something that I did learn when I studied coaching was that in order for us to get actually to the deeper layers of our subconscious, we kind of need to ask the question like 4 or 5 times before we start getting the deeper layer answer. So I share the 3 questions that you can ask yourself at the start, but just, if whatever decision you need to make or whatever question you've been asked, ask yourself again and again and again until your brain starts firing and running out of the answers, because that's when you'll start getting to actually the deeper truth. I think just having the awareness of this is going to be super helpful for all of you, and you're going to notice it with other people as well. So you won't just notice it with yourself. Go on. Yes, hi. We want love today. Can you go out, please? Go on. Good boy. Sorry, guys. He's in for lots of chats today, apparently. He wants some love. Okay, so I'm going to go through and give some examples. I feel like there was another point I wanted to bring up for this. It's escaping me. But yeah, just start noticing this. Start noticing the surface level answers that are given by yourself and others, and just start wondering, what is the actual truth behind that? How could you be more honest? How could you be more authentic? How could you be stepping more into that discomfort of leaning into being who you really want to be and being yourself? Because I don't think we're really ever truly living in our own world. We're not truly able to live our life until we can do this, until we can be completely honest and we can say the uncomfortable things and we can make the hard decisions because it's what's right for us. Otherwise, what's happening is you're doing it for everybody else. The amount of people who will grow up with parents who are like, be a doctor, I want you to be a doctor. So the kid just goes, well, that's what I want to be. And they go to uni, they study, they spend all this time, they become a doctor, and then they're like, oh, I'm not happy. Because they lived somebody else's dream. Like that's full-blown, like that's enmeshment, really. That's family enmeshment. And it's conditioning, childhood conditioning, society's conditioning, making us think we want to do one thing when actually it's not our truth, it's somebody else's truth. So yeah, just start noticing this within your world. And even in wherever I am, whatever aspect, whether it is relationships, whether it is work, whether it is friendships, whether it's just, my day-to-day health and how I show up and what I do, so much more. Every year I get a year older, or every experience I go through, or every hard conversation I have, I am getting closer and closer and closer to just living this it is my autopilot. It's not hard work. My brain is saying the thing that needs to be said, or I am thinking the things that need to be said. And I don't know if I said this already, but I'm very much noticing like how my body's reacting to things. So I'm like, oh, okay, that feels a little bit uncomfortable, or oh, I kind of want to know the answer to that, or all right, that answer that they just gave me didn't feel very good. That means there's something that's not aligned, and I am either going to choose to ask the hard question, and a lot of the time you're going to ask the hard question and you're going to be met with someone who's really uncomfortable with giving you an answer, and they're going to either avoid it, give you a surface level response, it's going to trigger them, and you're going to get some kind of reaction back. They might gaslight you and try and minimize the question to suit whatever their agenda is, right? Just being aware of this helps you to maneuver and manage the situations, helps you to regulate your own emotions throughout it as well, because it's like, oh, I just seen that just kind of hit a little button. All right, cool. I'm going to let you figure that out, and I'm going to take that answer or that reaction on board as evidence of obviously what I was already feeling. So yeah, like just start noticing how your body feels, even in like, even dating and relationships, right? Relationships, I used to be someone who, I'm a real giver. I pour in a lot. And it's taken me a long time to be able to realize when me pouring in was not really being reciprocated to the level that I desired, or to the level that I guess for a long time I could spend a lot of time emotionally caretaking, emotionally supporting, pouring in the emotional like maturity and intelligence, and I would get to a point, and it could be years, could have been years, and then I would just have this like reality check of like, oh my God, like what am I doing? I'm being treated like crap. I'm being gaslit. I'm being lied to. They're sneaking around. And it would be like 2 years in where I have the reality check of like, oh, light bulb. Okay, what's going on here? And not anymore though. I have been through so many lessons of relationships and dating, and I'm like talking to other people about their relationships and their dating as well, that I've come to the point where I can almost, within a month or 2 months, I'm aware of my body noticing the things that are not feeling great, and I am pivoting or changing gears from that place. And so I guess if you're dating or you're in a relationship and you're having feelings where it's like, oh, I'm just not really, my body's telling me something and I'm seeing something else, or I'm saying something else that just doesn't feel aligned, do your best to pull yourself out of the situation and get a bird's eye view. If you can pull yourself out of the situation and get a bird's eye view and apply logic and critical thinking and do your best to sift through the emotional fog that happens when there's emotions involved, you will get a very clear picture of what's being given and what's being received. And it will be the reality check that you need to decide whether or not you continue to see that person, or you continue to stay in that relationship, or you need to have a conversation and ask for things to change. Or yeah, it's just going to help you live more authentically to you. It's going to help you to remove all that distress and stress and worry that comes with emotions and relationships, and help you to make a decision that's right for you. And now I will say that this is nuanced. Everybody's different. Everyone's going to have reasons that they give, and the underlying reasons may be different for each person. I've got a bunch of examples that I'm going to go through shortly of this, just to help bring context into it for all of you. But yeah, this is what I do, right? I pull myself out of the situation. I get a bird's eye view, and I try and apply logic and critical thinking as much as possible, as well as go, okay, this is some of the things that have been happening. How am I feeling about that within my body? Because our brains will easily try and make up excuses, will try and use the other person's explanations for why they're doing the thing, like, yeah, I totally get why they feel like that. This is their experience, da 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 da. Like, I am so compassionate and understanding in that space that sometimes it is at my own detriment, because I will lean in and give for longer than I should, because the fact that it's just not being received back, or it's just that we're not aligned, or we're in different stages of life, or it's the other person just simply didn't know what they wanted, but I am someone who does know what I want. Like, whatever it is, whatever the situation is, right? There's so many examples I could give here from over the years. So I don't want to ramble too much, but pull yourself out, notice what the logic is of the situation, apply some critical thinking, notice how you feel in your body. Like, go through some old messages or go through some past conversations and go, this was what happened, this was what was said, how did that make me feel actually? Do I feel valued? Do I feel respected? Do I feel seen as a woman? And do I feel like, if you're a guy, do you feel seen as a man? Do you feel appreciated? Do you feel valued? Do you feel like they respect your decisions? Do you feel like they are compassionate to who you are? Do they give you grace? Are they kind? Like, do you feel these things within your body from the person you're dating or in a relationship with? And ladies, do you feel safe? Do you feel that you're being seen for everything that you are and everything that you give? Do you feel like your kindness is being taken with gratitude or taken for granted? Right? That can be a big one. It's not hard for kindness to be taken for granted or as weakness. And what else? Do you feel like guys or girls, when you're talking to the person that you're dating or you're in a relationship with, are you being respectful to the experience from both people? Or is it all about you? Or is it all about them? You're going to know. Your body is going to tell you when it is aligned, when it is happening, when it is smooth. Okay? And just listen to the answers that you get. Listen to the answers and then think about what could be the underlying truth of that. So I'm going to check this is still recording. I know I went out to put Duke out, so I hope that the microphone didn't disconnect or something weird. When I did that, that would be mortifying. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly look at this because I've got a heap of cool examples here. And so I've already given the gym kind of one. Another common one that can be for people who want to maybe start their own business. It can be that they don't have time. The surface level reason is I don't have time to start my business. And the underlying truth of that, more than likely, is going to be fear. What if I try and fail? What if I try and succeed? Right? So there's going to be fear that's underlying that surface level reason. Money. How many times do you hear someone say, I don't have enough money, or I can't afford that? And even I still fall into this trap, and I hate it because I know it's scarcity mindset and it's not abundance mindset. And if you want to change your financial position, start having an abundance mindset when it comes to money. But I never have enough money. The possible deeper truth would be mindset, money mindset work, but it would be I haven't built habits that match the life that I want. Taking full accountability for saying that thing. What is the actual truth of that? What could you change to change that answer? Another one with health is I'll start on Monday. How many people have you ever heard say, I'll start Monday? I'm going to start eating. I'm going to start that diet Monday. I'm going to start eating better on Monday. I'm going to stop drinking once Monday comes around. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to start getting consistent on Monday. The truth behind that is that I'm waiting to feel motivated instead of building discipline. That would be the underlying truth of that. I don't have time to meal prep. Basically, I haven't made this important enough to plan for. This is not a priority of time for me. That would be the underlying truths. What about people who just say, oh, something like, that's just me. Everyone else can deal with it. I'm just an anxious person. Okay, so really what's happened is you've learned to identify with whatever it is that you're saying, whether it's I'm just an anxious person, I just have opinions, I just am who I am, whatever it is. You've learned to identify as that person instead of working through it. And it's scary and uncomfortable to work through the thing that you're comfortable saying that you have or you're comfortable continually doing, because the alternative is the unknown, is the fear of the unknown. What's going to come up if I work on that? What am I going to have to face? Am I even going to survive getting through that, right? A victim mindset kind of one would be people always take advantage of me, or that's just my luck, or this always happens to me, right? Those people struggle to set boundaries. So the underlying truth of that is I struggle to set boundaries and maintain them, or it's easier for me to stay here because you're going to give me compassion and help and understanding and support. And if I start setting boundaries and being a little bit more independent, then I'm not going to get all of that. And that can be really scary for some people, because that can be like a real safety security blanket for them to be receiving those things. If you're in a friendship and you're like, I'm always the one reaching out, right? There's a conversation that needs to be had there for sure, rather than just continually saying that and letting resentment kind of build. But basically the truth is you're holding onto a relationship that's not being reciprocated. And that can be painful to really come to terms with. So the surface level answer is I'm just the one that always reaches out. Instead of actually, digging deeper into what's happening. Again, the reality check, pulling yourself out of the situation, bird's eye view, looking at both sides. What are you giving? What are you receiving? Ask for your needs, or if they're just not ever given, when you ask for them for whatever reason, like that person just doesn't have that emotional maturity to meet you where you're at, then that friendship's going to become different. It's going to look different, right? All right, let's go into some relationship and dating options. Oh my God, I just spilled that. Killing it. I did miss the white pants though. Go me. All right, so relationships. I'm just not ready to date. I'm not ready for a relationship yet. Who's heard that one before? The deeper truths that person has, that is underneath that surface level, socially acceptable, I'm not going to hurt you answer, is I'm not ready for a relationship with you. I'm still emotionally attached to someone else. Really common. Someone can't move on if they're still like thinking about another person. They might be scared of intimacy, or that person enjoys their independence so much that they just don't want a relationship right now. Like that would be some underlying truths to I'm not ready for a relationship. Because I'm not ready for a relationship is very wishy-washy. It's very surface level. There is 100% underlying things to that. Or if you're dating somebody and they're not replying for days, and they constantly give you, I'm just really busy. Or, they're not replying for a long period of time and you know that they're on their phone. I'm just really busy, or work's crazy at the moment. The underlying truth to that is you're not enough of a priority. They're interested, but not enough to rearrange their life, or they're keeping their options open and you're kind of a placeholder at that time. That could be some of the underlying truths happening within that space. So if you're experiencing that, pull yourself out, have a look at the situation. Which one of those might actually be the truth that you're not getting? The timing isn't right. It's just bad timing. The underlying truth is I'm uncertain about us. I don't want to commit. I like you, but not enough to build something with you. I think you're awesome, but I'm not romantically interested in building a relationship with you for whatever reason. That would be the underlying truths. I don't want to ruin our friendship. I value our friendship too much. Underlying truths, I'm not romantically attracted to you. I'm trying to reject you as gently as I can. Like, if this is not resonating for some of you, I don't know what is. You see this stuff all the time. Another really good one, and I had this one recently. Part of this one, there was like two kind of concerns around this. There was two things being said around this one. One of them was distance, and one was they were not sure if they were ready for, like they were like, I need to work on myself. I need to heal first, was a big part of what was happening for them. And the underlying truth did come out for that one. It was, I don't have the capacity for a relationship. And it was so true. And so I so respected that person for being able to say that ultimately. Because the other things that were given were just surface level. They weren't the actual underlying truth. Another one for this, or I need to work on myself, or I need to heal first, is that I don't want a relationship with you. It still could just be generally that, and they're giving you the surface level, or they're avoiding vulnerability. They're avoiding the vulnerability. Maybe the commitment scares them. They're just not ready to face that for whatever their own reasons are, right? So, sometimes the answer is true to them. It's just wishy-washy. It's just not the actual underlying truth, the painful truth that can hurt the other person. But I don't know. What do you guys feel about this? I'd love some comments. Like, let me know. Send me a message and let me know. But what's your feelings on this? Would you rather be told the truth that hurts so you have the truth and you can have all the facts and then you can go on your merry way? Or would you rather them try and brush over it and give you some kind of surface level answer that's going to not hurt you as much, but not really give you the answers, and then just, they're trying to make you feel better, and then you hold out hope that maybe that answer is going to change? Sometimes the truth is going to be so honest that you have no option but to go, thanks for that, appreciate it. All right, I'm going to move on now. Thank you for freeing me and my mind and my emotions to go find somebody who actually does want to be with me. Even people in marriage, they can be so unhappy, so misaligned, live completely different lives, sit in different rooms of the house, like they're roommates almost. And the reason for them to not leave is like they're just kind of settling, or it's like financial, maybe. It's like, well, if I'm not happy, but if I leave, then there's going to be a huge financial hit that I'm going to have to go through. Or I don't want to break up my family. Or it might be that this is comfortable enough for me to continue living through, even though I'm not super stoked with it. It's like the fear of the unknown, the fear of what's out there. If I end this and try and move on, what happens if I never find somebody else? Like, that fear will be the truth of why you're staying. And the other things, whilst yes, will have impact and be important, like family, finances, whatever else, like they're reasons, but they're probably not the deeper truth reasons. And that's where you need to start looking at if you want to really be able to start living a life that you want to live, that you value, and that excites you and lights you up, because we only get one. Truly, we only get one. This is another one. I don't want to lose you. I still want you in my life. The underlying truths to this one: I want the benefits of your presence without the commitment. So basically, I love how you make me feel and I love what I get from you, but I just want to keep getting that because I don't want to commit to anything else. I'm afraid of feeling guilty. Like if they do lose you, they don't want to feel the guilt of that. Or they just like knowing that you're there for them. It's like, again, that's like the placeholder. Like, I want to get my cake and eat it. I want everything that you give me and bring to me, but and I would say people that do this one, it's very inward focused. They're so inward focused on their life and how good their life is and how much fun they can be having and how happy they can be and how good everything can be going for them, and really soaking up all the things that the people in their life give them. And they've gotten to a point where they maybe got lost in being able to have more outward focus of like, okay, if I'm getting all of this from that person and I really love having them around, but I don't want to commit to them, how's that making them feel? It's just simply asking that question. How is that making the other person feel? Like, start putting yourself in their shoes to experience the situation from a different angle, and just start having some awareness around that as well. That's going to help you to understand other people so much. Fantastic to be able to do in a relationship, and at work and with friends, everywhere in life. And yeah, so that's some examples that I would have for that. One thing I'll say is like, the real reason isn't ugly. It isn't always ugly. It can be. There are some people out there that are so selfish and rude that the reason that they give can be incredibly hurtful and mean and horrible, because that's just who they are, because hurt people, right? But generally speaking, most people, the deeper reason isn't heaps ugly. It's just uncomfortable. It's really honest, but it's uncomfortable. And so the deeper truth is not always going to be negative. It's just going to be far more honest. And I think in this day and age, we are so... I think there's a bit of a swing coming back around to this, but it's like we went through this stage of like, we can't say anything wrong and we can't do anything wrong and we can't have certain opinions or thoughts about things. But, no, buddy. Oh my gosh, you're needy this morning. Go get on your bed. Go on your bed, please. On your bed. Give me 5 more minutes. Yeah, like we've sugarcoated everything, and we have to make sure everyone feels okay, and we have to make sure we don't upset anybody. And this is really bad in workplaces, I feel, but in life in general. So I think we're coming to a bit of a swing around where there are more people kind of waking up to being more honest and open and having their opinions and being okay with that. And it's, as adults, it's our own job to manage our own emotions for things. It's not someone else's job to placate to you and make sure you feel amazing all the time and make sure you're not hurt and make sure you're not upset. Like, that's your job to do. And then you surround yourself with the people who are honest and who do keep you honest and who do bring value to your life and you bring value to their life, in an honest way, not one where you're just getting told crap for the sake of it to make you feel better. Like, you don't want those people around you. You will never grow if you're surrounded by people who continually just puff you up and tell you lies and don't be honest with you. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm sure I would have been going for over half an hour now. So yeah, let me know how you go with this. Let me know what comes up. What are you experiencing maybe in your life at the moment that this relates to? What decisions do you need to make? What conversations do you need to have where you're giving a surface level answer that's just simply not the truth, your truth, and maybe you need to have that harder conversation or you need to make that harder decision, so that you can start to feel at ease. Because if your body's in distress and you're stressed and you're feeling that nauseous, you're feeling the tight chest, you're feeling the tightness in the throat or the tightness in the jaw, tense shoulders, chances are you're not sleeping well, things aren't going that smoothly, like you're feeling really just like bumpy, and it means that there's something that you need to handle. It means there's something that you need to work on in order to get everything to, like, yourself to relax, to reduce that anxiety. Because the anxiousness, especially in dating, like, there's nothing worse than, not being met where you want to be met, and that anxiety is just it's all consuming. It's horrible, isn't it? Like you're overthinking it all the time. You're wondering what they're thinking. What are they doing? What's happening? Am I not enough? Am I not good enough? Why are they not choosing me? All of the things. So yeah, if you're dating at the moment, just pull yourself out and have a look. How's your body feel about the things that they say and they do? And if it's not good, just take a step back. Just take a step back and stop caretaking or carrying the dating and just see how they show up when you do that. Have any conversations if they've said or done something that's really like just not cool. Have the conversation about it. Let them know that they hurt you. Same goes for everything else in life, really. All right, I'm gonna stop now. I hope you all have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.